You know, sometimes just one line of dialogue in a movie does so much more than move the plot forward. It can capture an entire cultural shift, basically defining a generation in just a handful of words. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful examples of this in film history. For millions of people, those words are instantly recognizable. You hear them and you know exactly what they mean. They're just packed with so much tension and emotion and, well, this profound sense of freedom. But if you've never heard them before, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? What could possibly be so important about that one sentence? Well, that's the big question we're tackling today. Because this line isn't just dialogue, it's a genuine cultural turning point. So let's break it down and unpack why this single moment became so iconic that people are still quoting it decades later.
Okay, so to really get this line, you first have to understand the movie it comes from. We're talking about the 1995 blockbuster Dil Wale Dulhania Le Jayenge, or as pretty much everyone calls it, DDLJ.
It's a classic romance, right? You've got Raj, this kind of fun-loving, carefree guy raised in London, and then you have Simran, who's the more traditional, dutiful daughter. And she is completely torn between her feelings for Raj and this promise her father made years ago, an arranged marriage to some guy she's never even met back in their village in Punjab. And this is where things get really interesting. The whole movie is basically this giant tug of war. On one side, you have tradition, what your parents say goes, arranged marriages, and your connection to the homeland. But on the other side, you've got modernity, making your own choices, marrying for love, and all the influences of a Western lifestyle. This wasn't just movie drama, you guys. This was reflecting a very real tension in 1990s India, as the whole country was changing and opening up to the world.
And right at the center of that tradition side is one key figure, Simran's father, who she calls Bauji. Now it's so important to get this. This isn't just a casual word for dad. It carries the immense weight of a patriarch whose authority is absolute. His approval is everything. So to go against Bauji, that's like defying the entire family structure.
So you've got all this tension bubbling up, tradition versus modernity, duty versus love, and it all comes to a head in one of the most famous final scenes in cinematic history, a totally nail-biting climax at a train station.
Okay, picture this. Raj has tried and failed to win her father's approval, so he's on a train, and it looks like he's leaving for good. Simran and her entire family are there on the platform. The music is swelling, the emotions are just off the charts. Seriously, this is it, the last chance.
And then the train starts pulling away. Raj is standing there in the open doorway, his hands stretched out, his eyes completely locked on Simran. And that one gesture, it says everything. It's like he's saying, the choice is yours, and yours alone. She turns to her father, tears just streaming down her face, and she begs him. I mean, this is huge. It's an open act of rebellion, something you just wouldn't have imagined her doing. She's asking him to let her break a sacred promise, right there in front of everybody.
And Bauji, the ultimate symbol of tradition, he's literally holding her back. His grip isn't just a hand on her wrist, it's the grip of an entire generation's values, of duty always coming before desire. For this one heart-stopping moment, it really looks like tradition is going to win.
But then something changes. He looks from his daughter's desperate face to Raj on the train. You can almost see him processing her entire future in that one look. And in that moment, he lets go.
And that's when he says it, the line, Ya Simran, Ya, ji le apni zindagi. Go Simran, go, live your life. And in that one moment, he doesn't just release her hand, he releases her from a lifetime of obligation. It is pure, absolute catharsis.
So you see, this was so much bigger than just a girl trying to catch a train to be with her boyfriend. This was a symbolic revolution on screen. It was the patriarch, the ultimate authority figure, giving his blessing not just to a marriage, but to a whole new way of thinking. It was tradition itself, bending to make room for individual happiness. It was a father finally telling his daughter, your life is yours.
And the impact of this scene? Whoa. It was immediate, and it was absolutely massive. It went way beyond the movie theater and just embedded itself into the cultural consciousness of India, and really the entire diaspora.
Just how powerful was this film? Get a load of this number, 1009. That is how many consecutive weeks it played at a single theater in Mumbai. That's over 20 years. Can you even imagine? People didn't just see this movie, they basically lived with it. That final scene became a modern legend.
That line became a meme before memes were even a thing. Parents would say it jokingly to their kids when they were leaving for college. Friends would shout at each other for encouragement. It just became this ultimate permission slip, a blessing to choose your own path, given by the very people who were traditionally supposed to set it for you.
You know, the line still hits home today because the conflict it represents is totally universal, that constant tension between our duties and our desires. And it leaves us with a question that's just as real now as it was back in 1995. What's the train you're trying to catch? And who or what do you need permission from to finally go and live your life?